In all of the drama that's been happening today concerning the indictment of James Comey, this news might have slipped past you, but I wanted to make sure that you knew about it because we are committed to transparency to the American people here at the Katie Phang News Channel, and this is new Epstein information that was just released by the House Oversight Committee Democrats. I want to underscore that is the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee that got these records from the Epstein Estate and made sure that as they were reviewing it, that they got portions of it released so that we as Americans can see what is going on. So let's start with the press release that gives some line items about what's being turned over. Specifically, House Oversight has received a third tranche or a third batch of documents and materials from the Epstein Estate. As you recall, House Oversight served a subpoena ducis tecum, meaning you have to produce documents. Now, we know that deadline has come and gone, but at least the Epstein Estate continues to supplement its production pursuant to that congressional subpoena. This third batch included 8,544 documents responsive to that August subpoena. And this is the following that was received. Phone message logs from 2002 to 2005, which were previously produced in litigation. So not new, but at least, responsive and compliant. Copies of flight logs and flight manifests for aircraft, including helicopters, that Mr. Epstein owned, rented, leased, operated, or used from 1990 to 2019. Copies of ledgers reflecting transactions recorded as cash transactions for Mr. Epstein and business entities. These documents were previously shown to the House committee staff in an in-camera review. Let's take a stop there. In-camera means behind closed doors, secret, right? And so these documents were produced and shown in a behind closed door, not for public eyes review to House Oversight Committee staff. And finally, Epstein's daily schedules between 2010 and 2019. Okay, so that's a long time, right, folks? I mean, the flight logs and flight manifests are for almost 20 years. Is my math off? Almost 30 years, excuse me. I apologize. My math was a little bit off. 29 years. And then the daily schedules were for 9 years. So you can imagine they are combing through this information. But I am grateful for the Democrats at House Oversight, including people like Congressman Garcia, Robert Garcia, Congresswoman Summer Lee, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. They are making sure that we get this information. So let's look through some of it right now because this is important. So partial production that has been given to the American people, we're going to go through quickly here. One page shows Monday, November 27th, 2017, daily schedule for Jeffrey Epstein. 8 a.m. breakfast with Reed Weingarten. Reed Weingarten was one of Jeffrey Epstein's criminal defense attorneys. He represented Jeffrey Epstein, and in fact, he has expressed skepticism that his client, Jeffrey Epstein, hanged himself in that prison cell. So I wanted to explain to you who Reed Weingarten is. That same date, November 27, 2017, 12 o'clock lunch with Peter Thiel. The Peter Thiel. You know, J.D. Vance's bestie, Peter Thiel, who is hell-bent on helping Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and others take over this country. Well, yeah. So apparently he was having lunch with Jeffrey Epstein on November 27th, 2017. Now, there are heavy redactions throughout this production that has been given by House Oversight Dems. So we don't really know some of these specifics here, but it is interesting to see Peter Thiel's name. A couple years later, February 15th, 2019, there's some interesting things here. Redacted names could be of victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Things like appointment for so-and-so with so-and-so, redacted for x-rays, cleaning and to finish implant, and then a redaction to have her teeth cleaned at redacted office, and then redactions for haircut, redaction. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't think this is Jeffrey Epstein getting his haircut at 5:30 and at 6 o'clock. I think this has to do with some of his victims. February 16th, 2019, 7 a.m. breakfast with whom? Steve Bannon. Oh, Steve Bannon. How you doing? What you guys talking about at 7 a.m. in the morning on February 16th, 2019? That would be the year that Jeffrey Epstein got indicted. And then 9 a.m. breakfast on 2019, February 16th with Reed Weingarten, again, his white-collar criminal defense attorney. Lots of redactions, including lunch with redaction at the House and others. Another document here, a schedule from 2014, December 5th. TBD, to be determined, tentative breakfast party. A breakfast party. I don't know how many of you get breakfast parties. I just have breakfast. Party would be nice, not with Jeffrey Epstein. Tentative breakfast party with Bill Gates. Bill Gates invited Ron Barron and Josh Harris awaiting reply. Now, look, I just went to Google. Ron Barron, founder of Barron Capital, Josh Harris, co-founder of Apollo Global Management. Could be different Ron Barrons and Josh Harrises. I just want to make sure that it's explicitly clear. I'm not saying that that's specifically those men, but those are the names that are here. Saturday, December 6, 2014. Reminder, Elon Musk to island, December 6, parentheses. Is this still happening? Question mark and parentheses. Elon Musk to Epstein Island. Elon Musk, what you doing on Epstein Island? Other redactions of some names. Now, those are the schedules that have been released by House Oversight Dem so far. So here's what's interesting. We got 2 pages of the general ledger as of August 9th, 2019. Looks like it came from QuickBooks or some type of accounting software. And it has the type of financial transaction. So it says check and has dates. The rest of it's redacted. Name, memo, split, debit, credit. A lot of it's redacted. Oh, but guess what? May 16th. Massage Andrew. Massage, exercise, yoga. Check. Paid to somebody. And it has a couple of bank accounts that are identified. UBS in Banco Popular. So we have at least 2 financial institutions that are affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein's finances. Credit card credits, checks, etc. Petty cash. Now, if y'all are familiar with QuickBooks, you book certain transactions certain ways. And in this accounting software, the petty cash designation shows certain checks and payments and deposits. And then look, we got another one here. February 11th, massage for Andrew. Massage, exercise, yoga. And it had a code by which these things were booked in this accounting software. Again, it looks like it's QuickBooks. And this is page 16 of 386. And so I'm glad to see that the Epstein estate is turning over financial records, because that'll help facilitate serving subpoenas on these financial institutions to get all of the underlying source documents. And so what I want to explain is this. So all of this information that is being reflected in this accounting software had to come from what we call the source documents, like the bank statements themselves or the credit card statements themselves, right? So if you're investigating, you're going to want to have the source documents. You want to look at them yourself. You want to be able to look and see to whom and how and when and why and all that other good stuff. And the best source for that would be the banks themselves, the financial institutions themselves. So I'm glad to see that we actually have even more identifiers of financial institutions. And then lastly, we have a page from Hyperion Air Incorporated. It's a passenger manifest. Dated May 12th of 2000 from Teterboro to PBI, Palm Beach International, which is in West Palm Beach. It has 8 passengers listed. Now, something's a little unusual about this, and we'll get into that in a second. You have 2 pre-typed in names. So it's Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell as 1 and 2. There's redactions for passengers 3 and 7, and then handwritten in Adam Perry Lang, Prince Andrew, bodyguard, and 1 male. Now, Adam Perry Lang, I went to the internet because I didn't know who Adam Perry Lang is. And apparently Adam Perry Lang, according to the internet, is a classically trained French chef turned celebrated American barbecue expert and pit master. I did not know that. And then Prince Andrew, obviously we know who Prince Andrew is. Now, the redacted names could be victims of Epstein, but clearly whose ever name was also passenger number 3 was also a pre-printed name of someone. Who maybe traveled so often with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that their name was also a pre-typed out name versus handwritten. And you'll see it for yourself when you look at the documents themselves. I just want to underscore how important this is that we continue to get more and more information it still doesn't explain why the DOJ under Pamela Jo Bondi can get an indictment against James Comey in, less than 72 hours after Lindsay Halligan sworn in as the U.S. attorney. They can get this indictment against James Comey, even though everyone, including her predecessor, said there was nothing there. But they still can't release the Epstein files. Riddle me that. Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. And so the Epstein files continue to be an elusive production from the Department of Justice. We haven't gotten additional new stuff from them. At least the Epstein estate understands the assignment. It's drip, 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 but at least they're releasing stuff and we're getting some more information, including names like Steve Bannon and Peter Thiel, for example. I think we need to keep the pressure on, folks. Walk and chew gum. Let's talk about the James Comey stuff, but let's also talk about the Epstein files. Let's make sure that we keep the pressure on and that the Republicans and Trump understand that we're not going to let go. We're going to be relentless about getting all this information out. But check out the production. And again, thank you so much to the House Oversight Democrats for caring enough about transparency for the American people that they're letting us know what's been produced so far. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.